מסכת בכורות, page 9 at the Mishnah. בכורות, firstborn. As we said before, we go to a firstborn of human. We start with the firstborn animal, and as we discussed in the past, we talk about donkey, and here we have a case of a female donkey that deliver a twin donkey male. And since we are clear that there is a mitzvah of the firstborn applied to the first one, and obviously those days were way before our days that we can examine by veterinarian to know exactly who is first, who is second, or if for some circumstance it happened just by itself and no one present, and all of a sudden there are two male donkey, and the question is which one you do what, because the Torah tells us that instead of giving a male donkey you can substitute it. So the Mishnah Kedosha said, Chamora shelo bikra, you have a female donkey that give birth to two male offspring. So it's clear to us with no doubt one of them is the firstborn. V'yalda shne zcharim, noten taleh echad lakohen. So since the Torah said that you can substitute by a lamb, so the obligation is to give just one lamb to the Kohen in the redemption of the firstborn. If that, again, it can happen hypothetically that it was delivery of male and female donkey and you're not sure who is what, so in that case that he designated one lamb as a firstborn in the case that the male was the one who was born first. But since it's merely a monetary debt to the Kohen, the burden of proof rests upon the claimant. So in this case, the Kohen. So because it's totally ambiguous, it's uncertain, the Kohen can offer no proof and the owner keep the lamb for himself. Shtei chamorav shelo bikru, if an individual has two donkeys, and both of his two donkeys had not previously given birth, v'yaldu shne zcharim, they gave birth to two male donkey, one each. So they said, noten shnei tlaim lakohen, the owner gives two lamb to the Kohen. If they together gave the birth, zachar unekeva, male and female, or shnei zcharim unekeva, or two males and a female, noten taleh echad lakohen. He gives one lamb to the Kohen because one of the males is certainly firstborn. Shte nekevot vezachar, or shnei zcharim ushte nekevot, if it's a two female donkey and one male, or two male donkey and two female, en la Kohen klum, the Kohen received nothing because we assume that the two firstborn were female, and the obligation, is the Torah said, is the male donkey. Achad bikra v'achad shalon bikra. If you have a case of one of his donkey has previously given birth and one is not, v'yalda shne zcharim, and now together gave birth to two males, noten taleh echad lakohen. So the owner gives one lamb to the Kohen as redemption for the firstborn male. Zachar unekeva, if the male and female, mafrish taleh echad la'atzmo, the same scenario as we said earlier. So the owner designated one lamb for himself because again it's ambiguous, it's uncertain whether or not the male firstborn, and the burden of proof rests upon the claimant. Shene'emar, because the Torah said in the book of Exodus chapter 34 verse 20, Ufeter chamor tivdeh v'seh, and you shall redeem the firstborn of a donkey with a lamb. Min hakvasim umin ha'izim, from sheep and from goats, zachar unkeiva, male or females, tamim uval mum, from older and the younger, unblemished and blemish or blemish, podebo pamim arbe. He can redeem firstborn donkey with many times, which means in the case where he designates a lamb due to uncertainty and keeps it for itself, it is his in very sense, and consequently, nichnas ladir leit asher, if enters the pen in order to be tied with other non-sacred animal, as the Torah tells us in Leviticus chapter 27. V'imet ne'nimbo, if it dies, one may derive benefit from its neveilah, from its carcass. Mantana, who is the one who Tana, that taught us that if a female donkey had never given birth before and give birth to a twin males, the owner gives only one lamb to the Kohen. Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah דלא כרבי יוסי הגלילי. The Rabbi Yossi הגלילי אמר אפשר לצמצם. Rabbi Yossi הגלילי said that it's possible that both coincide precisely, and therefore both of the twins are given to the Kohen. So according to his opinion, in a case here as well, 2 lambs will be given to the Kohen. So the Mishnah clearly follows the opinion of the sages that only one of the 2 is considered a firstborn. אמר רביי אפילו תימא רבי יוסי הגלילי שנאתם דכתיב הזכרים להשם. They said in Exodus 13 verse 12, the males shall be for God, which is the word males is written in a plural, hazcharim, not hazachar. So you have here indication that if they emerge simultaneously, they both have firstborn status. However, when it's come to redeeming a firstborn donkey, only one has the firstborn status. So the Gemara asks, "V'ligmar minei." Should the firstborn kosher animal from the alcha of a firstborn donkey is the same? So the Gemara said, "Hami et rachmana zcharim," because the Torah have this restriction and use the term "the male shall be the Lord." So you derive from them the 2 males can be considered firstborn only in the case of firstborn kosher animal. Another option, למה דלא כרבי יוסי הגלילי, כרבי יוסי הגלילי אמר אפשר לצמצם, as we said earlier. אמר רביי אפילו תימא רבי יוסי הגלילי שנאתם דכתיב הזכרים להשם, the males shall be be the Lord. So the Gemara asks, בישלמה לרבי ירמיה, if you followed רבי ירמיה, דלא מוקלה כי רבי יוסי הגלילי didn't interpret it the way רבי יוסי הגלילי hold. היינו דלא קטני ויצאו שני ראשיהם כאחד. So therefore is the reason does not teach, and both of the heads emerge as one, as stated in the Mishnah, where the ruling of Rabbi Yossi Agli is taught. So according to the sages who disagree with Rabbi Yossi Agli, this is impossible. But if you go by according to Abaye, who holds that the Mishnah is followed the view of Rabbi Yossi Agli, and such an occurrence is possible, so you can say that both heads emerge as one. So it means that even Rabbi Yossi Agli agrees that only one lamb is given to the Kohen. ועוד, furthermore, תניא חמורו שלו בקרב ילדה שני זכרים, ויצאו שני ראשיהם כאחד. We learn that if one's donkey did not give birth, and all of a sudden they give birth to 2 males, and both of them heads emerge as one. Rabbi Yossi Agli אומר שניהם לכהן. Rabbi Yossi Agli said both of them goes to given to the Kohen, because he said שנאמר הזכרים להשם, because he used the plural, the males are given to the Lord. So והא ככתיב high. So the Gemara clarifies, because the Torah said that it's written in regards to a firstborn kosher animal, that which was inherited sanctity, בקדושת הגוף הוא דכתיב. אלא משום שנאמר הזכרים להשם, but because it stated the male shall be the Lord, which means that the firstborn of a non-kosher animal, that both males can be considered firstborn. Tufta d'Abaye Tufta. This is refutation to Abaye, and when we repeat twice, it means that that's the final. And the Mishnah is follow the view of the sages, not according to Rabbi Yossi Agli. B. V'Rabanan, which is the sages, the Tana of the Mishnah, that hold that the owner gives to the Kohen only one lamb, because you cannot construct it to say that both heads came together. Lema kasavri Rabanan. Miktzat rechem magdish, you mean to say that the sages hold that even a portion of the mouth of the womb sanctifies a firstborn despite the offerings never having touched the entire area? Dikul rechem magdish, if we tell me that entire mouth of the womb sanctified the firstborn, then in the case where the head emerges as one, nehi de'i efshar letzatzem chatzitza mehem ika, that it's impossible for both to coincide precisely, and one certainly emerged first. But in any event, there is an interposition, which is the head of the other fetus between each fetus of the mouth of the womb. Amarav min bemino eino chotzetz. Rav hold that two substance that is contact with the same type of substance does not interpose. So it means that each fetus is still considered to be touching the entire womb. זכר ונקבה, male and female, מפריש טלה. The owner designate a lamb for himself. וכיוון דלעצמו, למה להפרושה? If it's for himself, why need to designate it? להפקוי לאיסור מיני, because in order to abrogate its firstborn status. עלמא כיוון דלא מפקע, אסור בנה. So we derive from that, it's not yet, if it's not yet abrogated, you are prohibited to derive benefit from the donkey at that stage. מתניתין מעני, according to whom this Mishnah, Rabbi Yehuda דתניא, פטר חמור אסור בנה. Rabbi Yehuda said that the firstborn of donkey is forbidden to derive benefit. ורבי שמעון מתירן, Rabbi Shimon said that it's permitted. מהיתמא דרבי יהודה, what's the reason of Rabbi Yehuda? אמרו לה, יש לך דבר שצריך פרייה ורבייה ומותר? Do you have any item that require redemption and it's nevertheless permitted to derive benefit from it? So the Gemara challenge, ולא, it's no such as item. והרי בכור אדם שצריך פתיעה ומותר. You have a firstborn of a human that require a redemption and he allows. אלא יש לך דבר שהגביר עליו תורה בשה ומותר. Do you have an item about which the Torah was particular and require that it's redeemed specifically with a lamb, yet it's still permitted prior to redemption? So the Gemara asks, Umi ikpida, is the Torah is particular about redemption of the firstborn donkey specifically with a lamb? Here is a case of Nechemia, son of Rabbi Yosef, redeemed firstborn donkey with a boiled vegetables that were worth its full value. That's obviously in those days. So the Gemara answer, בשוויו לא קמה, כי קמרה שלא בשוויו. So Ula is referring to a case where the donkey is redeemed at its full value. Rather, when he said that the Torah is particular that the donkey redeemed with the lamb, the reference is redeeming not its full value, but it's that, like Ula is saying, you have an item that which the Torah was particular to require abrogating its forbidden status specifically with the lamb, if the lamb worth less than the donkey. So therefore, Rabbi Yehuda holds that deriving benefit from firstborn the donkey is forbidden. So the Gemara asks, Vaharei ma'aser. You have a case of Rabbi Yehuda rolling off the second type product, which means Shikpid alav Torah bekesef tzori, that the Torah is particular to redeem only with a minted coin. Utnal Rabbi Yehuda Omer, and we learn in the Mishnah, Rabbi Yehuda says, if one bother a woman with the second type produce, b'mezid kidesh, if he did so intentionally, he has betrothed her. So apparently, he maintains that deriving benefit from the second type produce is not prohibited prior to redemption. So the Gemara answers and it said, Befetech chamor mi mikadesha kid Rabbi Lazar da. Amar Rabbi Lazar, isha yodat she'en maaser shanim mitchalel lada. Woman knows that the second type produce is not sacralized by her betrothed, rather it remains prohibited. And she will subsequently ascend and consume it in Yerushalayim, where consumption of second type produce is permitted. So she's therefore betrothed with the benefit of the future consumption. So they said, Hachaname here too, woman knows, obviously in those days, that the firstborn donkey has a forbidden status. So she is therefore redeemed it with a lamb. And she is betrothed with the amount which is of the difference between the value of the donkey and the value of the lamb, as the value of the lamb is lower. So the Rabbi Shimon Maitama, why Rabbi Shimon said that Petech Hamor allow mutar bana, allow you to drive benefit. אמרו לו, יש לך דבר שבדינו מותר והוא אסור. Do you have any item that whereby its redemption, which is the item in which its redeem is permitted by the item itself, is forbidden? So you see a case here that the lamb that is given to a Kohen is permitted, the donkey that redeemed should have been permitted as well prior to the redemption. So the Gemara said, Velo, it's not such a case. You have this law of the sabbatical year, that if someone sells perot shvi'it so the money, the damim, allowed to use forever, but itself is prohibited. That at the time of the bi'ur, you burn those perot shvi'it. So, which means that the driving benefit from the produce itself is prohibited after the type of produce is unavailable in the field. As at that time, it must be removed from the house as well. So it said, Shvi'it Nama Piduna Asu, the sabbatical year produce redemption is forbidden. The Marmar that we learn, Acharon Asu, says that we do the process and it's continue until very last item purchase assumes the consecrated status of the produce of the sabbatical year, and the actual produce itself remain concentrated and forbidden following the time of the removal. Excuse me. V'ba'itema Rabbi Dr. Rabbi Shimon ba'ikra kamifligei detanya lo ta'avod bivchor shorecha. The Torah said in Deuteronomy 15, you shall not do work with the firstborn of your ox. אבל אתה עובד בשלך ובשל אחרים. But you may perform labor with your own and also with others, which is the animal owned in partnership with a non-Jew. ולא תגוז בכור שונאיך, not shear the firstborn of your flock, אבל אתה גוזז שלך ושל אחרים דברי רבי יהודה. But you may shear a firstborn animal that is yours and that is also of others. That's Rabbi Yehuda's statement. רבי שמעון אומר לו, תעבוד בכור שוריך, אבל אתה עובד בבכור אדם. You can walk with the woman's firstborn son. There's no prohibition exists with regard to drive benefit from the labor of firstborn boy, even before he is redeemed. לא תגוז בכור שונאיך, ואתה גוזז בכור חמור. Can shear the firstborn donkey. בישלמה לרבי שמעון דכתיב תרי קרא, לרבי יהודה תרי קרא, למהות שלך ושל אחרים, למה לי? ותו לרבי יהודה בכור אדם נמי נעמה דאסיר, לכולי עלמא שורך למהות בכור אדם ודעתה. כי פליגי בית שונאיך, דרבי יהודה לטעמי דאמר שותפות עובד כוכבים חייבת בבכורה. וכי יצטריך קרא למשרי to permit בגיזה ועבודה, shearing and using an animal for labor. ורבי שמעון סבר שותפות עובד כוכבים פטורה מן הבכורה, ולעניין גיזה ועבודה לא יצטריך קרא. כי יצטריך קרא לפטר חמור. פטר חמור אלאו גיזה אין עבודה. בישלמה לרבי יהודה, היינו דכתיב צונך. If you go follow the view of Rabbi Yehuda, that the reason the term you flock is written and not simply the word flock. So it excludes sheep that are owned in partnership with an idol worshipper. וצונך, ושורך, I too צונך, and ox, because of the term you flock. That these two will be similar style. אלא רבי שמעון שורך וצונך למה לי? But according to Rabbi Shimon, why you need you ox, you flock? So the Gemara could conclude difficult that it's a kashya. Tomorrow, Mitzvah will continue.